go just for the sake of the page numbering so that you guys can see the numbers there. I just left a blank page in, and then I've started with the actual document. As you can see, there's a little table I've put in. We're going to have a little graph we're going to put in and see how that all works. We're going to look at some spacing techniques, and of course we're going to put in the references. So this is sort of our final product that we want to achieve. Okay, so, and yes, colleagues, this is recorded, so, and it will be on our YouTube page, so you will be able to access it and be able to watch it again and again and again and go and practice these things. Okay, so here we go. What you're going to do, students, the best way to do it is just type up your answer. Don't worry about spacing. Don't worry about all the other niceties. Just get your information done. So this is my module code. This is the assignment, and I've put in some information. And you can see I've got some spaces there. That's perfect. Not a problem. All right, so we've got our information. So what's the first thing we're going to do? Well, let's start with the nice simple one, the cover page. Now, the nice thing is under your insert menu, cover page, you've got to have all these different options, and there's quite a few built into Microsoft Word. So you can then go and select. It's not going to do exactly the same one. We can be a little bit more creative. Let's take a nice simple looking one. And there we go. Now, the first thing is, colleagues, students, your title page is an introductory page. And in other words, it won't have a page number, not at all. So that's important to remember. Now, Microsoft Word sort of gives us a template, and now you can go fiddle around if you want. You can put in the year, document title. Let's see, well, it's a module, so let's say assignment. Ooh, terrible spelling. Right click, always check your spelling. Use the tool, let it do the work for you guys. Assignment 3. Something simple like that. Okay, subtitle, maybe there I'm going to put in my module code. You can be a bit creative over here, it's not a problem. And of course it already knows who I am because I'm using Microsoft Word. And there we go. So this information's in my cover page. It looks nice, neat, simple. Doesn't have to be too graphical and things like that. So I don't need this information anymore, so I can delete this. Right, then the next thing I want to do is I need to create some space here. So after my cover page, I need to put a little bit of space because I want to put a table of contents. So what I can do is I can just click on, still under insert menu, blank page, boom, there we go. So now my introductions move down and I've got a nice space over here which I'm going to want to use. So that's pretty good. Don't be too scared to try things, because remember, if you make a mistake, there's always the undo button that you can use. So that can also help. All right, so then we're going to look at, let's go have a look. So I've got my spacing there. All right, I've got introduction, maybe just move it up a little bit. You'll see the ruler over there tells me this is my margin spacing. I will be showing you how to change that a little bit later. Got my introduction text. Okay, so I want to create a table over here. Again, I'm still under insert. I go here and it gives me this nice little grid that you can use. This is probably the quickest way to create a table. Right, for example, I'm just going to put in 4 rows and 4 columns. So there's my columns, there's my rows, and I'm just going to put in some information quickly. They wanted some information about amount spent on day and the items, something like that. Maybe that's the research that you were doing. Well, you can see how it works. As you're typing in, each little cell where a row and column meet is a cell, you can type in your information. But you can also move things around. So that's important. So you can adjust. So you start constructing a table. All right, again, maybe I want to squeeze this up again. And of course, you can go this way and this way. So take note, it's flexible, it can move around. And so you can continue. Okay, so that's just what they wanted from us. Now it looks a little bit plain. Okay, so fine. Let's go have a look. Sorry, my little toolbar sitting right in the way. On the design, what you can do is you'll see, oops, let me just go back one step. So when you're working in a table, we call this an object. It means it has properties, things that you can do to it. And then you'll notice there are little toolbars that pop up, but only when I click inside of it. Let me just move this little guy around. Thank you. All right, there we go. So there we go. So as I was saying, so when you click inside of it, you've got these little toolbars that come available. If I click away, you'll notice they're not there because they're specifically arranged for this object. They belong to it. And these are the things that you can go and change. Now, for example, I've already clicked inside my table and I want to do some quick styling, and then you'll see there's a whole bunch of options that you can actually use. So it's totally up to you. It's very quick formatting. You can select this one, for example, and there your information now really looks formatted. So that looks really good. So yes, nice. If you want to change the size, notice I'm selecting all the text. You've always got this pop-up little menu that always pops up. So you can maybe make it a bigger size like that if you wanted to. If you want to change the text, there you can see the font colors changed. And of course you can insert and delete and a whole bunch of other techniques and things. So there we go. Oh, that doesn't look that great, mind you. Red and green is a bit of a bad combination, but okay, but I'm sure you're getting the idea of this. Okay, so you can do some formatting on a table. And just remember, when you click inside the table, you've got all these little things that pop up. For example, layout, you can go say insert below if you wanted to add some more columns. You can also say insert left or right, depending on where you're clicking. Hey, so if I say on the right side, there it is. Okay, so and of course, if you don't need it, you can just, well, you've got an option. You can either say delete what you've selected, or you can just use the undo button. Remember that little guy is your friend. Of course, now the size again has changed, so I can move it around again. So don't be scared. It's pretty fun. All right, and then you've got a whole bunch of other features that you can also do. Right, so that's basically how we can put in a nice little table. All right, then I've got some more information in my document, and now I want to put in a graph. Yes, I want to show the lecture that I've already done some homework on this assignment, and I want to just do something cool. Again, under the insert menu, you'll find there's a chart option. Now what will happen is it will give you a whole bunch of different versions of charts and types of charts, but you need to understand what are these charts for and why do you need to use them. So for example, a pie chart, as you can see, the design is to say there's some information that you want to show what has got more relative than the others. So that's quite cool. So let me select it. And what will happen is it's going to put a default in for you like that. And then you notice automatically your little Excel sheet is going to pop up. So this is quite fun. So it's like you're working in Excel, but you're actually working in Microsoft Word as well. We call this an embedded chart because we're putting it in and it belongs to Excel, but we're using it in Microsoft Word. Now, if I want to change this, by default, they give you some information, but I want to change this. And I want to put in some my own information. So first quarter, let's change that to month. Month is a little bit better. So January, and now of course, let's put it in February. Right, so as you type it in, you notice the chart's going to change. Just to give us a little bit more space. Let's add May, but May doesn't have a value. Okay, so let's say we were calculating the number of sales. That's the type of data we needed. Data in, and immediately you see the chart starts changing. Okay, that's perfect. That's exactly how it's meant to be. Then I don't want, okay, sales is fine. I said I was using sales, so there, but if you wanted to change this, you can add it in. You'll see the title changes, so that's quite useful as well. Okay, cool. So what else can we do with the charts? And I'm just going to click on close. Remember what I said to you. When you click on something that you've created, an object, there'll always be things that pop up, toolbars to say these are the properties you can go and change. So let's have a look at chart design. Now there's some really cool quick ones to do this. You're going to find this exactly the same as in Microsoft Excel. And yeah, I'm going, oh, this was a nice one. Why? I like this one. So this one really works out percentages based on those values. So there we go. So now it puts it in, it's got a label, formatting is done, and it's just very quick to do. But we're going to look at charts way more at 10 o'clock. We're going to be doing Excel, and that's where I'm going to be showing you all the different features about creating charts. So don't worry, let's keep this one simple for now. Okay, let's see what else do we need. Oh, okay, there's a big gap that's formed here. All right, of course I worked over here. Microsoft Word sort of made some more spaces for me. So let's just use the delete on the keyboard. And there we go. Okay, so now this is starting to look good. So I've got 6 pages in my document. All right, fine. Let's see what's the next thing we're going to do. Right, so now I want to say, okay, let me get my table of contents going. I've got a basic design of my document. It's starting to look good. So the first thing I'm going to do, and this is the catch, and this is very, very important. Select your text that you want, just the heading that you want to make in a heading. Now, headings works with your table of contents. So those are quite important to remember. So when you're creating a table of contents, first do your headings, but be very careful what you select. If you select all this text and I say heading 1, then you can immediately see the text has changed, right? You'll see it, notice it changes. For example, I'm just going to leave it there for now. So my heading 1 has included the heading, but also text. So when you create your graph, or sorry, your table of contents, it's going to look a little bit funny. So let me leave this here for now. Let's deliberately make a mistake so I can show you what will actually happen. So let's select the next one. I'm saying heading 1 as well. For my table, maybe just say table of purchases, make it a little bit more specific. I'm going to make that a heading 2. Now heading 2 is a subheading. And let's say the same for my graph. Okay, it really says what it's about, so that's fine. Now I see conclusions moved. Can you see, as you work in your document, spacing is going to move continuously. So just move it down. There we go. Okay, conclusion, I also want that as a heading 1. And my references, I'm still going to add them. I'm going to make it a heading 1 as well. Great. And of course, there are heading 3s and 4s, and it goes quite further down. So you can have multiple subheadings. Just remember this little error that I made. Hey? Great. So now I go to the location. Where do I want to actually put my table of contents? That's why you see I inserted a blank page to create that space. All right, to make it a bit easier for ourselves. All right, so then we go again to insert. No, I lied, it's not under insert, it should be under, oh bugger, where's this thing? Ah yes, references, sorry, there we go. So you go to references tab this time, table of contents, so this is nice, it's really built in for you and they're giving you sort of some few options that you can select. Mostly we just use this one over here, it sort of does the job for us. So I click on it and there we go. So now my table of contents has been created and it looks quite nice. But as you can see, look at that video and all this text that was added in. That's because we told the system that this is heading 1. So let's go and fix this. Okay, so I go and select the text that should not be the heading. Go back to home, click on normal, put it back the way it was. There we go. Okay, now you can see the text is different. You can actually see that it looks back to normal that way it was. So, but now we need to update this. So how do we do it? Very, very easy. Right click, you can say update field, and you can say the entire table. Click on OK. And there we go. Nice, neat, simple. Okay, good. Now the system really picks up the page numbers, so that's fine. All right, but we haven't inserted page numbers yet. Okay, so let's do that next. Again, we're going to go to insert. Page number. Now there's a whole bunch of different options here, so you can have a look and see exactly what you're looking for. Generally speaking, page numbers are at the bottom of the page. That's usually where they're expected to be, and you can see all the different types of page numbers that you can actually put in. But I'm going to keep it nice and simple. So I click on plain number 3, and there we go. Now you'll notice something changes over here, and you'll notice immediately you're going inside footer, header and footer. Okay, that's normal, absolutely. Now your footer is the bottom section of your page, where you can put some information that repeats itself or self-generates. Your header is the opposite, that's at the top of the page, but again you can put in information there as well. Normally with businesses you'll find a logo or copyright and that type of information. They normally stick it into the footer and the header. Right, but there we go. There you can see my page number. You'll notice your cover page, there is nothing, and that's perfect. That's exactly how it's meant to be. And then if I scroll down, you'll see the page numbers popping up. You'll notice the rest of the text that you've got is all grayed out to indicate you've got a tool open, in this case header and footer. So you might need to close it first to take you back to your normal view. So let's click on it. Okay, so one thing that's interesting is you'll notice I've got two pages here that I'm working with at the same time. If you click under view, there is the option multiple pages. Okay, so that allows you to actually do exactly what I'm doing, not just having one big page in the middle. So just check these settings out as well if you want to work in this sort of fashion. Although it's quite easy to do it this way when you're formatting. Right, so there we go. Now we've put in our page number, so that looks pretty good. Okay, but there was something about page numbers. Hey, I said to you, we're going to have Roman numerals and then we're going to have numbers. So how do we do that? This is quite tricky, so pay attention. So what we're going to do is, well, I'm just going to click over here, right? And then I'm going to say under layout. Okay, very importantly, I'm going to layout. There's an option called breaks, and there we go. So we're going to say next page option. So when I click on it, right, there we go. You'll notice it sort of jumps down, creates a blank space. That's perfectly normal, right? And then you'll see it says page 1 over here, and then it repeats itself, page 1 over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on it, just select it, a little bit tricky, right click on it, and then I'm going to say format page numbers. Right, and then it's going to say currently using 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to say nope, I want to have Roman numerals. There are quite a few options, so you can select, but normally you'll find books tend to have this little guy, so that's fine, we can use it. Start from the previous section, no, we want to start from the beginning, so that's perfect, so you can click on OK. All right, and then you'll see your header is open again, so there's 1. This one here, I see it doesn't generate it yet. There we go. There's normal numeric 1, 2, and 3. So there we've created this space. I see this one hasn't generated yet. So let's quickly correct that. Click on close. I'm just going to hit the delete key. Okay, so I've deleted that page. All right, but now I see this one is starting at 2. Okay, let's double click on it. Right click on it, very tricky to do because you've got to be very specific with your mouse. There we go. And I'm going to say start from page 1 or start from continuous. No, it should definitely be page 1. You unbelievably, it's just done what I didn't want it to do. All right. Okay, let's do that again. Sorry, see what happens, colleagues? By deleting it, I deleted the whole thing, the whole page break. So let me just insert it again. Layout, breaks, next page. Okay, good. There we go. It's done what it needs to do. Let me change it again. Unfortunately, this does happen. This is a very tricky thing to do, but it does take a bit of practice. Okay, good. Now that's doing what it should do. I see the blank page is still there. This one looks like it's correct. Okay, good. Now let's try and figure out why is this one giving me such a hard time. It shouldn't be. Say Control Enter. I just want to see if I can regenerate it. Okay, so there's 2, but this one still remains. It's giving me a hard time. I'll put it forward for now. I'm just going to try and fix that, guys. Let me just put in a heading over here. Okay, let me just going to update the table itself. Okay, so there at least it picks up number 2, and then it starts from 1. But it's picking up 1 twice. Okay, let me see if I delete it this way. Okay, so that seems to have done the trick. You've got to be careful, guys. If you delete the wrong direction like I did the first time, then you will notice that you actually delete that break. And when you do that, then you've got that blank page. Okay, so there's fine, and 1, 2, but now the blank page is moved over here. Oh boy, it looks like we're going to be struggling with this a little bit. Let's just do an update of the table. So it's picking up page 0 now. All right, let's just go insert. Okay, we definitely don't want it to start at 0. Please start at 1. See, don't panic with these things, guys. It's just a matter of figuring out what Microsoft Word is trying to do. And there we go. We've managed to correct it. Table of purchases is heading 2. Perfect. So there we go. So there you can see Roman numerals, and now it begins with 1, 2, 3, and 4. That was fun. I tell you, colleagues, you practice this thing 100 times and you're still going to sit with problems. But there we go. So you've got to fight with this thing until you can see that you can actually get the Roman numerals. Just to show you guys forwarding, okay, you can put in some text. If you need to put in some quick text for any reason, you just want to show somebody something, this is a very useful function. You type in equals rand, you open parenthesis and closing, and you hit enter. And what it does is it creates a whole bunch of text for you. Okay, so there I've put in my forward. Just for demonstration purposes, I'm not going to be typing what you guys don't want to watch me typing the whole day long. And there we go. So now we've managed to put that in place. So that looks pretty cool. Now, definitely there's going to be some sort of formatting that they're going to want you to do. And this happens almost all the time. So what you do is select your text. That's a really, really important rule. Please make sure you select your text before you do formatting. If you don't select, then you're not going to be formatting anything. So rule 1, select your text. Now, on your home tab, you'll see there's a whole bunch of options that you want. But I know for a fact, if you click on this little guy here, it's going to bring up the settings. I know they always talk about line spacing. You would see this very, very often. They're going to say to you, please use double line spacing or 1.5 line spacing. So you click on it and you can see the preview window automatically changes. Normally they give you this in your assignment. So you click on OK, and now you'll see the line spacing changes. The other thing is they like to say, please use, is it Arial? Normally Arial, yep. So you select Arial and you'll see the style of writing now changes. The size also, normally it's size 12. And again, there we go. So there you can see formatting is now changed. Now here's a nice thing. So if you're going to need to format all this text, there's a quicker way to do it. You can select your text that you formatted. You've got this little guy here called Format Painter. It's also over here, same little guy. You click on it, you'll see your mouse now changes, and then you can simply click and drag over the text that you want to format, and then it copies the formatting that you've used. Not the text, just the formatting. So now everything will look exactly the same. So that's quite important, and that's quite unique. So there we go. So that's a quick way to do the formatting. And of course you can select it. You'll see I'm triple clicking now. Click on the format button and very carefully make sure I don't select the wrong things. And there we go. Now my text has changed. All right, so I hope you guys are learning all these nice little things. The other thing is that I know they'd love to do. They'll tell you the margins. Your margins is under layout. You'll see there's a margin option. They give you all these different options over here. But normally you can go to custom. And you can specifically go say, okay, the lecturer said to me, I need to make sure the margins are 3 centimeters to the top, on the left, the bottom, and right. Let's say they wanted 3 all the way around. That's cool. Click on OK. And there you go. So then you'll see the spacing here changes very quickly. So if you weren't paying attention, you probably wouldn't have seen it, but there the margin space has changed. So that's how you do it. Now here's another question. People say to me, David, when I do this, it shows me inches. Now, how the heck do I change it to centimeters? Okay, no problem. Just click on File, go to Options, look for Advanced, go down, 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 and there's that option sitting right over there. Click on it. Normally it'll be on inches. Now you can just go say, I want centimeters, please. And that's it. Click on OK, and then automatically it will update itself. So that's how you do that. Also under layout, there's your orientation. Portrait is by default. That means the page is this way, or landscape goes across. But normally they want portrait, and normally that's not a problem because it's there. All right, let's see. Formatting. Okay, so you've got all your general stuff, the paragraphs we've had a look at, so that's good. Okay, so let's continue. Right, we've inserted our tables and our graph. Yep, so there we go. We've inserted them. Okay, but look now, look at the spacing problem. Because I changed that margin, I must just double check. So in this little space here, I'm just going to delete on my keyboard just to create this space. And now you'll see it starting to line up again. So that's one thing. To make it neater, just make sure you hit the delete, but don't hit too many times because you don't want to delete information that you need. Okay, so there's our graph. It looks pretty good. Okay, and then we've got references over here. Okay, another thing is, colleagues, they're going to ask you to, even as first-year student, they're going to say to you, okay, this research that you've done, where's the information coming from? Okay, so we're going to need to find out how to do a quick reference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use good old Google. You're going to go to Google Scholar. All right. Okay, I'm just going to select, for example, let's say this is what I'm researching about. It pops up the article, and let's say I used one of these articles, and this is what I'm referring to. Then the nice thing is you can click on this little guy here called citation. What it does is it automatically generates the different versions of the citation that you need to use. Now at UNISA, we tend to use APA. So all I do is I click on it, I can copy, go back to my Word document, and paste it in. You'll see that all the correct formatting is done for you. So that's really fun. And then, for example, if I needed Harvard, I can select the Harvard method, but they normally tell you specifically what you need to use between the two versions, and you can paste it in. All right, so there we go. That's a quick way to put in a reference. I'm not going to go into the referencing in text and citations. I just wanted to show you a quick way to do referencing that in case you need to refer, and it's a good thing to do this because as you go in your studies, you're going to have to do this anyway. You're going to need to put in your references. So like this is perfect. Even if it's an HTML, a web page, just copy and paste it in, that's also fine. But normally they give you some sort of guide. Just to show you guys, I just quickly copied this. I know UNISA does have some very good resources. We will share this with you as well. For example, Chems, they've got a Harvard referencing style, and they've got this whole information here. That actually can show you how this works. There's plagiarism, there's that thing called Turnitin. You're going to love that thing sooner than later. So yes, it's going to be available to you, and it explains to you exactly how it goes. What I would also suggest is, I know the library, they tend to do a lot of training on referencing. So please, even if you're a first-year student and you see the opportunity, even if you might not be using it yet, it's good to understand how this is going to come into your studies at some point. So it's good to learn it, and so that when you get to that point, you already know, okay, this is how we do it. So very, very interesting. We will share this resource with you. It is self-paced. You can go learn it, and they even tell you the different ways, like internet sources, how do you do it, and things like that. So yeah, you can have a look at that. That's quite a nice resource. Right, so let's go back. So there we've managed to put in our referencing. Okay, then the next thing is, and you find this quite frequently, the lecturer is going to say to you, please save this or submit this on my UNISA as a PDF. So that's easy to do. You go to File, Save As, and this little guy here, the type, there is your docx. So there it is. Sometimes you might find the lecturer might say to you a .doc. There's no X at the end. There's that option. So if my UNISA says to you .doc, then that's the one you must use. If it's .docx, then use this one. But there's also PDF. It's one of the three. Normally one of the three is what they're going to ask, or sometimes they give you options. If they do, then select the option that's easiest for you. For example, I'm just going to say PDF. I click on save. Now automatically Word is going to generate the PDF for you. So let me quickly have a look. And there it is. I called a training document, and there it is. If I open it, there's my PDF document. Let me just make it a little bit smaller so it's easier to see. There's my table of contents looking pretty cool. And there's all my information. Beautiful. All right, and that looks quite nice, neat and tidy. So I'm sure the lecturer will be very happy to see the quality of the work. Now, just a little bit of an extra. I didn't really put it in because I see we've still got a few minutes. If you need to do a mind map, yes, that little guy, it does come up, and I have seen it in quite a few assignments. For example, I'm just going to make it a heading 2 quickly. If you need to do a mind map, guys, the easiest way to do it is if you go to insert, there's your shapes. You can actually just put it in very easily like this. So you can actually bold it. Click on add text. If the lecturer wants a mind map you need to bold in, there we go. And now you can just go and bold all the little things in. And you can actually show your lecturer how creative you are. I've already used that one. Let me try a different one. And you can see all the different things they've got available, already created for you, so it's just a matter of doing it. And remember what I said, anything that you add that has features, there it goes, it's an object, it's things that you can change. There we go. Now if I want to go in changes to make it look different, and there we go. So all these little things have things that you can change and make it real. All right, there we go. You can be creative, okay? Drag it around, play around with it, and you can build yourself a mind map. That's if you need to do that, of course. But just have a look at these tools and they are available to you. So it's very, very useful. All right, so that's pretty much it. We've managed to solve and do everything that we set out to do. So that looks it. That's your assignment. So students, I hope you enjoyed that. We're going to open the questions in a few seconds. Just to show you guys a few things more before we continue. Please do check out our regional page. You'll find it under first year experience. There it is. And you'll see a whole bunch of options over here. You can also find the regional centers there as well. There's also a YouTube channel for student retention. There we go. So if you could look it up on YouTube, and you can see all the different videos that we've got available there. Also including some extra things in Excel and PowerPoint, you name it, it's all sitting there. And of course, the third thing I want to tell you guys, we've got a MOOC site where you can actually do free online courses. There's some very, very good ones about ethical hacking and Microsoft Word, and there's an open educational resource about using my UNISA. So you can just come register for free and you can access these when you've got time, of course. All right, Naz, that's pretty much on my side. I think I've covered everything we needed to do. We can open now maybe for the Q&A. Let me quickly do that. Okay, there we go.
Okay. Thank you, David. That was insightful and that was interesting. I also learned a few things. Colleagues and attendees, we have enabled your microphones, so should you have any questions, you may raise your hand, and when I call out your name, then you can just enable your microphone. Okay, I see Douglas has his hand raised. Douglas?
Hello, guys.
Hi.
My question is, what is the most important things that you should insert when writing the references or bibliography?
Good question, Douglas. Normally in your sort of assignment layout, they're going to tell you very specifically. Make sure, although for first year students, normally not too detailed, but as you go along, you're going to have to be able to put in specific things that they want to see. That's why I showed you guys the Harvard method and the APA method, and I showed you a quick way of actually doing it. So, for example, here you'll see the authors of the book. Now, see, it's 2 people. The year is in there. The title is in there. Where was it coming from? Which journal was publishing it? What page number was on? And base, or that's probably a volume number, sorry. And then, or year and volume number, and then the page number that it refers to. So with references, they normally are very specific. They tell you this, but if you use the Google approach, like I did, then generally everything they need should be there. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it did. So, hello?
Yes, Douglas.
So is there any font and sizes that you have to use when writing the bibliography?
Yep, normally they will give that to you if they want it in a specific format. But generally speaking, if they don't give it to you, then it's normally Arial size 12 would be fine.
Okay, thanks.
But always check the
Douglas,
tutorial letter. Yes, Nels?
Yes, Douglas. You see, there has to be like consistency in your report or in your assignment. So you can't be typing in Arial and then doing your references in Times New Roman. So you decide what font you choose, and you run that font right through your document. So it looks neat and it looks coherent. Usually they would tell you this assignment should be done in Arial 12 or Roman, Times New Roman. But if they don't, at varsity level, you either choose Arial or Times New Roman. You don't go and put fancy fonts or anything like that. Yes. And with regard to references, depending on which faculty you are and what your requirements are. So the human sciences might use APA, the law might use Harvard. And that's something, more information can be gathered from the library, where they actually have training sessions on how to actually do these bibliographies or references. So you can just visit that, and they have a format online also. You just plug in all your information, whether it's a journal, whatever, and they generate these bibliographies for you. So it will tell you the journal, the author, the year, whatever's required. It's specific for that format. Okay.
Okay.
Great. I see Tapiwa has a hand raised. Tapiwa?
Morning.
Morning.
Thank you for an informative session. However, could you please repeat how to put references? I didn't quite get it. It was a bit too fast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, let me just respond. We're going to the recording. It will be shared on the YouTube channel, so you guys would be able to see the steps again over there.
Okay, thank you.
Pleasure.
Okay. Let me just take a few other questions before we actually go into there. Masingita and Ndlovu. Ndlovu, you have your hand raised.
Yes, I have a question. My question is, Mr. David, like when he was putting reference, he copied from the internet. So my question is, if we copied from the internet and paste it to Word, don't the lecturer see that piece of evidence is copied? Don't you then mark it as plagiarism?
Okay.
No idea. Okay, David, you take over.
Okay. No, when it comes to referencing, remember, a reference is actually saying that you got the information from that resource. So when you're copying it basically from what I showed you, like Google, I'm not copying the content of the person's work. I'm simply just copying the format that the referencing needs to be in. You can type it in, or you can go and copy it in. Because it's a reference, it's not the same. Plagiarism is talking about when I'm copying someone's work and I'm pasting it into it. Definitely, then you're wrong. But if you just the formatting of referencing to say this is the person's work that you used, or the ideas or concepts, then that approach is not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
So copying references is not a problem because that's actually not plagiarism because you're referencing. But should you just copy and paste from articles, like the content of the work, whatever they're saying on Google, you just copy and paste everything, you put it in your report or in your assignment, that is plagiarism. So that's just something that you should keep in mind. When it comes to references, no, that's not plagiarism. Okay. Paul, your hand is raised. Paul, you can unmute your mic.
Okay, hi. Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, dear. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good,
Okay, so
thanks.
my question is there a difference between bibliography, the reference, and the work cited? Because sometimes I get confused as to which one I should choose. And I see they are the same in Microsoft Word 2016. I see they are the same, so I get confused as to which one I should choose. I normally go with the references. So is it the same thing?
Yes, dear. It is exactly the same thing. Just different people and different organizations call it differently. Some people may call it bibliography. Some people might call it work cited, and some might call it references. Some might call it reference list. So that just depends on your assignment requirements or your lecturer, for example. So, but generally, we generally use references or reference list. So as long as it's there, it doesn't really matter what the heading is. But if you really want to make sure, you could just ask your lecturer about that. But as long as the work is there and it's cited, that's the most important thing. So you don't really have to stress about that. But what I do is I usually use references or reference list. Does that answer your question, dear?
Yes,
Great,
thank you, ma'am.
Great. Pleasure, dear. Okay, I don't know. I don't see any hands raised. Okay, there is one. Gimpo's hand is still raised. Okay, I think David, many of them wanted. Okay, Grant. Grant, you can take over.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to ask in terms of footnotes and having them, sometimes you need to have it justified. And then also there are times when they do not want any spaces after each footnote. Could that also be part of what will be covered, please, in this particular training? Thank you so much.
David?
No, I didn't do anything on regards to footnotes, but I can, let me see if I can quickly find a resource that might be able to help you in that one.
Okay, Grant, David will try to find something for you, but it will not be covered in this session. Okay, I see there are some hands. Pleasure, Grant. Okay, okay, I see someone else's hand is raised as well.
I think it's mine.
Okay, sure, you can speak, please.
It's Leon Ritz here. I'm an academic. So just to maybe help colleagues to remember why we call it a list of references and not a bibliography, is a list of references refer to only references that you have used in your text. So you must not add any source that you have not used in your assignment, because we see sometimes students just load up a lot of references because they think it looks good, but that is not a correct way. You must only reference the sources that you've used in compiling your assignment, and there is references in your text. The second thing is also sometimes when we look at using Turnitin, it does pick up that you repeat your reference in the text as well as in the list of sources. But that's why the Turnitin is looking at similarities and at areas that you have to overwrite. So you have to go then through that report point by point to check what is the problem. You cannot work only with the first page where you get a percentage of similarity. And remember that tool doesn't 100% really bring forth a percentage of plagiarism. It just shows you maybe you even repeat yourself in the text. You write too many times, you start a sentence with in this moment. So it picks that even up in your text to also show you repetitiveness in your writing. But I know that there will be training later on more on the Turnitin tool when we need, but there's a lot of resources also available. So I thought I just want to share that with the colleagues. On Footnote, preferably people prefer that there should not be spaces between the footnotes so that it fits into the bottom part of your page. Because sometimes if you do, it actually moves even sometimes the space of your margin at the bottom. So yeah, I just thought I want to share some of those just to maybe help some students. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. That was really helpful and insightful. So yes, students and attendees, just keep that in mind. And with Turnitin, the library should have, workshops and training on Turnitin. That is something to check, your plagiarism and your similarity, and just to guide you through. So please keep that in mind. Please check the library website. Okay, and Nontlantla? Gloria, you have your hand raised?
Okay, I'm still unmuting myself. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we loud and clear.
Oh, you can yes. Now. Okay. No. I just one point. On the issue of inserting of footnotes, I do think it will be important to really show us how to deal with that issue of spacing, because for me it comes up all the time, and I just submit my assignment even though I know I'll lose marks. I just don't know how to sort that out. But I would also like you to show us a bit how to deal with the margins, because that's my other problem with my thesis. I saw you going to insert somewhere, but it was so fast. I also missed it, but I know my margins are a mess. If you can just, if there is time, if you can just maybe just tell me where to go and stuff.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I just want to take Neo's question, and then we can go to the actual document, and David can show us a few things. Okay, Neo Sibola. I think you need to unmute yourself. Click on the mic.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. There we go.
Okay, I wanted to ask about on how to insert charts, because I saw that you open the window of Excel. I don't know if you can find it from Word, or you go to Excel, then create a chart or graphs. So okay. I wanted to ask on how to create that chart.
Okay, great. David, I think maybe we should go back to the document, please, and we can show them table of contents, how to insert that again, the Roman numerals, which is regarding the page numbers, the charts, and maybe footnotes. I think that was what the attendees actually wanted more help with. So,
and the margins. The margins.
Oh yes, dear, the margins and her margins, please.
Okay, thanks, Naz. Okay, students, I am good. The footnotes section, guys. There's a very useful website called gecflearnfree.org. There's a whole bunch of topics on here, and they specifically deal with Microsoft as well. So if you go look at Microsoft Word, and for example, there are headers, footers, page numbers, and more. So if you go have a look at these things, you'll see footnotes there. They're also showing you footnotes, how to do it. There's a video, and of course, there's even the steps itself, how to do it. So if you need that sort of help, that extra sort of help, and you just want to learn more, please go to this website. I'm sharing it on the chat side so that you guys would be able to then also be able to access this information. Let me quickly do it right now. All right, there we go. Oh, I've done it twice. Wonderful. Okay, so just check in the chat. You'll see that I've actually added this information in. It'll definitely be helpful. Okay, so let's quickly go back. With regards to chart, okay, let me maybe just start a blank document. Okay, so let's do the chart one first. So what you do is you go to Insert. You'll see there's an option for chart. Ah, there it is. Good. Click on it. It gives you all the options, right? So if I just want this type of chart, for example, then I click on OK. All right, then automatically it will happen now. I think his name was. Automatically Excel is going to open. So in other words, you creating the chart inside Microsoft Word, it's embedded. In other words, it has properties that you can change, and then Excel will automatically open. But if I close this, right, and I want to go back there, you can right click on it, preferably not on anything in the chart, sort of in the white area. You can say edit data, and then Excel is going to open. So you're going to work in Excel over here, but your chart is in Word and it's going to change over there. So that's how that works. Then the other thing was the under layout, you can go to margins, and then you can go custom margins. Because normally the ones that they give you, it's definitely not going to be the specs that the lecture wants. So go to custom margins, and then you can see top, left, right, center. So they're the margin settings that you can change. Just remember, if this is in inches, then you need to change your settings, which means I'm just going to repeat, go to File, Options, Advanced, and then just scroll down, and there you'll see the options. So it will probably be on inches. Then you must just tell it, no, I want it in centimeters. Click on OK, and then the system will automatically update. So that's where you do your margins under layout, and there's margins. Okay, then the fun one, the Roman numerals. Okay, let me see if I can do this again. Let me just quickly insert some pages. Okay, let's try again. Right, so there we've got our 4 pages, right? Okay, so I'm going to go to this page over here, and let's say again, I'm going to be under layout. Let's say breaks, insert page break. Okay, next page, click on it. You'll see the mouse moves across. Now, let's make it so that we can at least see the page numbers. Let's put page numbers in. Click on close. Let me see. So there's page 1, there's 2, there's 3 and 4. Okay, double click. So now this is the tricky part. You got to sort of select it and then right click on it, page numbers. Let's go put the Roman numerals in. Click on OK. Just want to close it. Let's have a look. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, there we go. Okay, so there we go. So because I put in a new page, so it's 1, 2, and 3. So that's Roman numerals, and then it starts from 4. But because I put the page numbers in, the system now still sees this as 4. So I'm going to have to double click on it, right click, say format pages, start at is now what I need to do. And I say I want to start from 1. Then I click on OK. Click on close. At least that went a little bit easier in the first attempt. So there you can see there's your 1, 2, and 3 Roman numerals. And now it starts again at 1. So if I put another page in here, then this one will be 2. And there we go. It does take a bit of practice, guys. As you could see, even the most prepared times, you can find it'll catch you somewhere along the line. But maybe do that before you start typing in your document. But yeah, play around with it. As I showed you now, it's possible. Sometimes it's just a little bit tricky. I think that was it, Henas.
Yes, I think that was it. Okay, we are running out of time, but we can just quickly take 2 questions. I see Wilson's hand is raised. Wilson? Wilson, unmute your mic.
Thanks, students. There is a survey that we're doing. It's in the chat box. If you please can use it, select it. It's just a few little questions. Just want to know where you are, and if you're a first-time student, that type of thing is very quick to do. If you don't mind, you can please fill that in. It's very important for our understanding of our students and where you guys are coming from. All right, and we will be uploading this recording on the YouTube channel probably in the week, and then we will send you a notification just to say that it is there. Thanks, Nas.
Great stuff. Okay, thank you, colleagues and attendees. Yeah, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for participating and for asking all your questions. And we wish you all the best for your assignments. This was not an in-depth course of any sort. There are other more, in-depth courses of Microsoft Word. This is just a basic creation of assignments that will just guide you through. But the library and other services would have greater details of information. But, if you guys have any suggestions or if you want us to cover anything, please let us know, and we'll have these sessions coming up. And thank you for being such a wonderful and pleasant audience. And thank you for waking up so early to attend our session. So thank you so much. And we do have Excel and PowerPoint coming up today. Excel starts at 10. And I think, PowerPoint starts at 11:30. So if you guys are available, please join us, and please fill in the survey and give us your feedback so we can improve our services to assist you guys. Sure. On behalf of the Student Retention Unit, we wish you guys everything of the best for your upcoming assignments and exams. Take care and stay safe. Remember, the recording will be available, so don't stress about that. All the best, dear, and just do you and do the best that you can do. All the best. Take care and goodbye.